Everybody has problems with race. Asian people, you have problems with people from India, you have problems with people from Africa, and have problems with people from Mexico, from Honduras. Wow. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like all the hate goes to the people like in Mexico, and Honduras, these are same people. They're good people. But if you get mad, oh, look at him, he come and get my job. He doesn't want your job, he wants to live. Right. You know what I mean? He wants to raise his babies to be pretty and nice and happy.
The problems? The bums. A lot of bums that don't do anything. They don't. They just ask for money, and then they go do drugs, and then you say, hey, don't buy drugs, and they're like, no, I won't, and then they go buy drugs, and like you can see it, they're killing themselves, and it's annoying to watch somebody kill themselves. It's honestly it's annoying. It's not sad anymore. It's not anything I have no emotion towards it anymore because you just watch one person die after another. So it's just like, okay, I'm tired of watching it.
What do you think are some of the biggest problems or challenges that the city is facing these days?
Well, I live 2 blocks away, and the homeless / mentally disabled problem is probably one of the most prevalent ones. That's where a lot of officers' time and resources go into handling these crimes that really aren't even necessarily crimes. They're just people that need a place to be, and because they're urinating in front of a storefront, getting arrested, filling out the jail cell, and taking a lot of time and money that can be put to better uses. That's kind of a selfish way to think about it, but it's also like, when people, obviously here at the market, come and see our city, like, since Pike Place, for example, is a private business, you have security, which kind of keeps, our fans out of the way, but you step over the second.
The question is pretty simple. What do you feel like are the biggest problems the city faces?
I would say probably Seattle's biggest issue is kind of a bourgeois attitude about life, like kind of an uppity, exclusive kind of attitude towards who can play and can't play.
Poverty and drug addiction, pretty much.
One of the issues of the city, it's one of the fastest growing cities in the United States, so it's growing really fast, so it's becoming more corporate and less family based. That's definitely something that a lot of people in Seattle are worried about. And it's becoming more commercial. The residential zones are shrinking and the commercial zones are growing. And so that's one problem. And then we've always had drug problems here, especially crack. It's like a big city for crack. And there's a lot of people who use crack and heroin up here, and so that's a big problem.
It's getting really overpopulated right now. I think people are moving in here really, really fast. And I don't think the city knows what to do with all the people that are coming in, and so they're just tearing down all these awesome, cool old buildings to build these kind of, I find, hideous condo structures and high-rises.
Become a lot more chaotic and like almost like you don't feel as safe in certain neighborhoods as you used to. Like, it's almost like Seattle's gonna become LA.
down here, they won't let natives sit around here in the car.
What or who is the king of Seattle?
Natives.
Yay! That's good.
Yeah, because about 3 years ago, there's an officer shot one of my cousins, killed him. And we're trying to get all the organization to try to help us out. These cops are getting worse and worse. Well, there's 200 guys, I guess.
But like if you walk around like down this way and up in like Pioneer Square and everything, like there's a lot of homelessness and like those are where all the shelters are.
Nothing too major. I think one of the biggest one is probably homeless people. A lot of homeless people around here. They're panhandlers, asking for change, stuff like that.
We have a lot of mentally challenged people and physically challenged, and there's not enough low-income housing to put them in.
Okay.
People have been on the list for years. Okay. And a lot of these little lots and stuff, the neighborhoods don't want the low-income people in because it causes crime, and and so you can understand where it comes from. But at the same time, what would Jesus do?
That's right. What are the issues?
Homeless. There's too many homeless people out here.
One of the big things that stuck out at me is we live near the Ballard area, and Ballard has quite a community of homeless people, a lot of people who live in their cars. There's a lot of services in the area for it, so I think people congregate there, but I think close to home, that's really what has stuck out the most to us.
There was an incident once with the fire department and the police where they used brutality on a homeless person because he didn't move fast enough or whatever when they woke him up, and they actually put him in the hospital and they beat him.
I mean, you can fight all day in those courtrooms and you'll get this much justice. That's it.
I think number one is the poverty level, because like I read, there's like 10,000 people homeless every night. That's a major issue. I've been homeless myself, so I feel for them. So that's a major step that I think our country needs to focus on.
I wonder why does somebody in government get half staff on the flag? We have hundreds of people dying homeless every year. We don't ever have a moment of silence for them. Why? I mean, it saddens me that it's come to honoring you great kings who sit on your thrones every day while we beg for you to have more community meetings, to hold meetings not during work time, but actually at a time citizens can participate. At a time that you're not looking down at your iPods for some reason, instead of listening to citizens who only get their 20 minutes to speak in front of you.
So what is wrong with Seattle is we've lost touch with the citizens. We have an upper crust of citizens that run for office now that basically run everything, and citizens don't have a voice in the process. As you saw, the meeting was at 2 p.m.
Yes.
Everyone's at work right now. No one gets off till 5:30 or 6 o'clock.
That's
So
right.
citizens aren't allowed in the process. And when the citizens do come, they only give 20 minutes to speak. So at 2 minutes, that's only 10 people out of a 500,000 people that get to speak. So the process itself is in Seattle is what's wrong with Seattle.
So you call them kings. What do you call them kings?
Oh, I call them my masters. Today, kings. Okay. I usually call them my Führer. I hail them because the problem with our, I always use Hitler for an example and people get upset, but Hitler came to power under their constitution. He had used the powers that he was given to gain all power. And so in our community, they're using their power to gain the sole voice of the whole city. And so, you know, I use the word king because they're all rich. All of them make, you know, more money, like 3 times. Their salary right now, sorry to jump all over the place, their salary right now is $120,000 a year. The average citizen salary is only like $40,000 when you do a weighted average. So they're making 3 times more than the average citizen. And so they're living in a different society altogether in Seattle. So their voice that they're representing is completely different than the mainstream.
Very low wages in the city.
Just because I sat down and whatnot, but they were really, really cool and whatnot.
Public officials that don't move beyond certain boundaries. They're very locked in the Democratic Party. They're not, everything's pro-business. Boeing, everything is emphasis is big business and not the rest of us. We are the 99% who will get screwed over time and time again.
Business lies at Jesus' gate.
As a long-term part of this community, what problems do you see here?
Homelessness.
Poverty, as you guys have probably noticed, is a huge problem here.
For mercy's falling crows. The Lord, I hear the hungry.
I know that it's going to become a problem because they're doing so much renovating and everything. Now, like is when a person tries to find a spot for cover, and then now they're just moved, you know what I mean? Slowly they're getting pushed, you know what I mean, toward. I just don't. I don't know how they can really address that other than, you know, having better jobs and or just the pay being a little bit better so somebody can get out of the. But then that's, you know, where we live right now. You know, it's kind of hard.
Will not Jesus show his face and bring his gospel store? Supplies of every grace
it's worldwide, similar conflicts and issues, but nobody really has the power and the will to make those differences because the people who actually make the decision at the end of the day are afraid to make the decision.
Any people hurting, overlooked, in pain, or any things that need to be addressed in the city? If Seattle would be a kingdom, who would be the king or the queen of Seattle? Somebody that you think is positive, or somebody that you think have influence in the city? Anybody?
I don't know. That has really it hasn't kind of synced in. So I'm sure there's gonna be a few people out there who's gonna be able to do that.
Sir Mix-a-Lot should be up in there.
Who?
Sir Mix-a-Lot. I mean, he's definitely, you know, got that title.
Who do you think is making a difference or helping in some way?
That's a hard question right now. I don't know who's making a difference for real.
Okay.
I don't see no change. I don't see no change.
Well, what are the good positive influences in the city?
There's people doing good for the community, like people who aren't doing as well. I think that's a good influence. Like, there's a lot of churches out here that do like lots of feeds and like there's a lot of like very active people who really care, but they're not people who have as much influence, but they still do a lot of good.
Exactly. Even the employees, you know, sometimes they help me out, you know. They come by and say, hello, good morning, sunshine.
So the needle exchange is, say you use heroin, right, and you bring your needle in to this like state facility or like government facility, and then they'll take your dirty needles, and they're all hazmat trained, so they take the needles and then they give you clean needles in exchange. Okay. So it lowers down the amount of HIV, and it lowers the amount of like needles lying around. So that's a good thing.
Never knew how much I loved you. I never knew how much I cared. When you put your arms around me, I get a fever that's so hot to bear. You give me fever. When you kiss me, fever when you hold me tight. Fever in the morning, fever all through the night. Rolling down my mind. Look at you go, look at you go. Train, 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 running so fast. Train, 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 running so fast. Please don't tell them the train that I'm on. Don't know which road that I'm on. Train, 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 running so fast. Train, 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 so fast.
So you're saying it's not a monarchy at all?
No, I don't. I mean, I'm sure it exists for sure.
Just like trying to street perform, make a couple bucks, you know. Not too good, but you know, I don't like to beg. I'm not gonna go beg, so I figured and entertain people, you know.
Some of the churches.
Do you notice anybody in this city, any organizations or individual people who are trying to help the problem?
Oh yeah, there's like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we have some church people come down and give us some phones for lunch.
That's great. Do you know any of the specific churches? So we're not from here, we're just trying to learn about the city.
Well, the most churches I know is up further on the other side of town.
Okay. Okay.
Most of the guys come from Bainbridge sometimes.
Okay.
Like teenagers come by, give us water, food.
That's great. That's great.
Clothing. Like in winter, they come down here, give us blankets, stuff like that.
Come, Lord, and tarry not. Bring the long looked for day. Oh, why these years?
Microhousing is a solution that's, so our capital is Olympia, and a microhouse or a tiny house developer has set up a tiny house camp down in near Olympia to establish like actual walls and an actual neighborhood sort of in place of like a tent city.
The missional communities meet in the middle of the week and do a lot of more of a family style discipleship, hanging out. We always have dinner together. We feel like that's something that Jesus did a lot, is just eat with people.
A lot of dedication and people who are invested in really building long-term relationships.
But really the life of the church happens when we're serving our neighbors and when we're helping each other out in those small neighborhood communities, which actually works great in Seattle because it's very neighborhood centric.
Really?
And so we can align our missional communities, I think, with the neighborhoods that people live in.
As we've seen a lot of pain, and tonight was kind of a capstone of that pain for me. I met up with a friend of mine who I hadn't seen in 10 years, and we'd gotten to know each other for about a year when I was just starting the church that I lead in Champaign. And this guy isn't a Christian, and he was pretty close, but then he moved out to Seattle, and so this was the first time in 10 years that we'd connected. And he's newly married, and he and his wife just experienced a miscarriage in the last 2 days. And they opened up with me about all of their pain, and I got a kind of a glimpse of the fact that they don't have other people that they're really close with here. No deep, meaningful relationships, a lot of surface level relationships, the Seattle freeze that we heard about. And it struck me how great of a need there is for the church to be present in Seattle. So many people are without meaningful relationships. The homeless, I think more than anything else, they just want somebody to understand them, to care about them, to know that they're not alone. And I think it goes all the way up the corporate ladder too. People who are without meaningful relationship with others, but ultimately knowing that the God of the universe created them to love them. So the church has a great task here in Seattle, and one that I would be praying is effective and connects with and reaches my close friend Sean.